Hi, I'm Mrs. Kilpatrick. Everybody pretty much already knows me. I'm just going to introduce the new course for the year, so IB Chemistry 3, and how it's a little different than last year. So first of all, welcome to the new year. This is senior year, so it's an important year. But we have covered a good chunk of the material. So usually what happens is AP Chemistry is very, very fast paced, and then IB Chemistry, I'm able to bring it down just a bit just because we've covered the majority of the content at this point. So first thing that's different, I have changed my website. So my website was kilpatrickscience.com. It still exists right now, but it's become a little bit more, it's just very expensive to maintain that website because I'm using Dreamweaver. So I did find a different software to start using, and I moved my website over. I'm still kind of in the progress of, I'm still progressing to do this, but it's mostly done. It's chempatrick.com. So it's right up here. It's chempatrick.com. So it's right here, right there. Now the new login to get in is Alchemist, so capital A, Alchemist 1, and then the password is Edward Kelly, so capital E, capital K, 2023. So it's just a little different, but it's mostly the same thing. So when you get to the website, you'll click on it. I'm trying my very, very best to maintain the calendar this year. So if you click on it, it'll tell you like, okay, so IB Chem, we did practice grading IAs. And then we went over the periodic trend questions that I gave out Wednesday. So I'm trying my very best to maintain that. Now, if you click on the link up here for APIB, okay, you'll go over here. This goes over all the units, and now we've covered the majority of this. Now, there are new topics for IB Chemistry. We still have not covered anything for organic chemistry. We've still not covered, or we've just started covering uncertainty. And then there's spectroscopy. There is an option that we cover. And then there is the IA, of course. And I do appreciate everybody's assistance with getting the IA done over the summer. So we've already accomplished a major hurdle. Like, everybody has at least attempted to collect data. We might have to go back and do some revisions on some of those things, but mostly everybody has some sort of data. And at this point, it's just writing the internal assessment and learning how to put something together in a good, putting together a very good IA so it scores high. So the difference this year primarily comes down to IB content versus AP content and how we're tested. So AP, we were tested with just one test. It was half multiple choice, half short response. This year, they have 3 separate tests and then also the internal assessment. So the first paper is just multiple choice. There's no calculator allowed. The second paper is where we see most of the content, most of the points, and that is only short response. And then the third paper, it consists of a lab-based question, and then it also consists of something called the option. So we are doing medicinal chemistry. So I will be teaching all the content for medicinal chemistry, and then that's what they will be tested on. So they have 3 papers that they will sit for over the course of 2 days, and then the internal assessment as well. The internal assessment is 20% of their overall chemistry score. And this is one of those things that I say that you have almost complete control over. So as long as you go and write the paper according to the rubric that I give, with taking in all the feedback, you should be able to get moderate to high marks. If you listen very closely, then you should be able to get to those higher marks, and then have that actually add to your score and not have it to detract from your score. So those are the primary things that we focus on this year. It's like getting ready for a new type of test, because even though a lot of the content's the same, but the way that IB will ask the questions and phrase the questions is different. So preparing everybody for that is essentially what we're doing this year. Now, as far as grading goes, the only major difference is going to be there is a piece for the internal assessment. So if you go onto the syllabus that I have handed out, there are 4 main dates to look for because we're going to be collecting the IA in 4 main pieces. So they've already given me a research question. They've already run their internal assessment. The first piece that they're going to be giving me is the background information with the data. I want to see like nice clean tables. And then after that, we're going to go through a bit more. They're going to work on their data analysis. I'll give a little bit of feedback. And then after that, they will submit a rough draft. And then that's the most important part because I'd spend the most time trying to give the most feedback on. And then that's where they should try to spend the most time making the best rough draft that they can, because then I can give the best feedback as to making it the best possible paper that we can turn in for IB itself. As always, you are always free to reach out with questions, concerns. My email address is brandy.kilpatrick@stjohns.k12.fl.us. And I'm free to answer any kind of questions or concerns. I do have a few previous students who have graduated, but they said that they would be happy to do some sort of virtual tutoring or maybe even other kinds of tutoring if they're in town. But I do have resources if you're looking for extra help. There is also a great textbook. It's an Oxford edition. I told the students about it. It's a great book. It's like $30 on Amazon. I'd highly recommend it, by Geoffrey Noose. So if you're looking for something like that for great practice, it's just a good, concise resource. That would be good. But as always, like I said, as always, just feel free to reach out, email me. Any of you guys are also able to text me through Remind. I do respond through that. I already have a good feeling about this year. I think it's going to be a really fun year. So anytime that you need, just reach out, send me an email.